Today we are looking at a bit of a weird herbalism build in Dragonflight that absolutely no one is going to go for, which is exactly why I spent the time on the beta to level this up and check it out. We are heading for a Conversance some specialisation build in the botany tree, and this one requires 30 herbalism knowledge points to unlock. Once you have spent 10 points in botany and unlock the Conversance tree, you unlock the ability to learn to use your tools on plant creatures, gaining the ability to find useful herbs and items from them. As a herbalist, I was able to gather from plant mobs before I got this ability, but I never got any herbs or anything else useful before this. Next, we're going to put 20 points into Conversions to unlock the ability to the plant creatures of the Dragon Isles sometimes absorb the elements of the land. When gathering from these creatures, you have a chance to gather these elements from them. Basically, this gives you the chance to get rousing elements from gathering from plant creatures. I've had most of the elements, but I never got decay or order so far. That's not saying they don't drop, I just never got them. I tried out a few locations for this build, and the best I could find was in the West and Iron Plains, just north of the Shady Sanctuary in the wood in that area. You have a lot of plant creatures around here, and even though the big ones do have quite a lot of life, they did seem to go down quite quickly, especially if you cleave off them into anything else you have pulled. The mobs here mostly drop grey trash. They do however drop high fibre, which is used in part of a quest line to get a mount, but I think this is probably going to be too common of a drop for it to actually be worth anything. The gold we are making from this is purely from what we gather from the plant mobs, which is mostly going to be herbs and those rousing elements. Now on the character I was running this build on, I also had botany maxed out, which means my profession skill was 140, but I still only got rank 1 herbs from gathering from these mobs. That does not guarantee that you can only get rank 1 herbs from them, but I think it's highly likely that this is the case. On the plus side, I was picking up all 4 different herbs in the Dragon Isles, so it was nice to get that confirmed. The rousing elements did seem like the drop rate was a bit too low, and it didn't seem to affect the farm too much. Sure, it was a nice bonus when it did proc, but considering you need 30 points in total to unlock this ability, I found it really anticlimactical when I did test it. One of the things I did like about this farm was just because we are not actively running around trying to find herbalism nodes, it does not mean we're not going to pick up what does spawn. In this area we got fairly decent spawns of rife bark, which is probably the second hardest out of the 4 herbs to farm. There also seemed to be quite a decent spawn rate on windswept herbs, which gives quite a chunk of rousing air and some rank 3 herbs. Overall this was a decent enough farm, but wasn't in any way mind blowing. The rousing elemental drops part was disappointing, but what you pick up with herbalism wise from nodes helped to make up for that. I don't know if I felt this way just because my standards have gotten really high over the course of the beta as I found crazier and crazier farms and builds. If you are someone who's going straight for maxing out botany to be able to herb nodes whilst mounted, you will unlock Convergence and the ability to do this farm without the rousing elementals quite early, so maybe you can try this out without investing any herbalism knowledge points into this build. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and see you next time.